Morning, guys. It's awesome to see you again here on this Wednesday morning. This morning I want to take a little bit of time to talk about stars. Now, I know it's summertime, and usually during the summer, the skies are nice and clear. It's usually hot out. The days go on, they seem like forever, and the sun finally sets usually around like 9:30 at night. But once the sun starts to set and it starts to get a little bit dark, what is it that you see up in the sky? You probably see stars. Have you ever tried to count the stars in the sky? I mean, I've tried it when I was younger, and I even tried it recently, and I get confused, I get lost, I forget where I'm at, I forget which stars I've already counted. There are just too many stars in the sky for me to count. But guess what? The God who created all of the stars, Jesus, the God that we serve, that God knows all of the stars by name. Isn't that a cool fact? I mean, there are billions upon billions of stars up in the sky. That's just a fascinating, mind-blowing thing to think about. You know, I was researching and doing some, just looking up some information about stars. And did you know that in our galaxy alone, the Milky Way galaxy, there are over 400 billion stars? I mean, that's just an astronomical number. I mean, there's just so many, just in our galaxy alone. And scientists believe that there are billions upon billions of more galaxies that we've never even heard of, or never even found. That is incredible. And what's even more incredible is the fact that God knows, and He hung each one of those stars up in the sky. He knows each and every one of those stars. And guess what else He knows? He knows you. He knows you more than you could even, more than anybody else that's in this world. He knows you more. He knows your name. He knows what makes you happy. He knows what gives you joy. He knows the things that you've done that you've hidden from everybody else. Right? God loves you, and He knows you. Another interesting fact that I found about stars was that in our galaxy, if you were to count each star in the Milky Way galaxy, if you were to count one star every second, it would take you over 3,000 years to count them all. So the next time you go out into your backyard or your front yard and you look up and you see the stars, I mean, you can start counting, but it's going to be a while before you count all of them. That's crazy. The reason I brought that up is because I just find it so fascinating that those stars that we see up in the sky, we've been able to go up and explore them with satellites, and people have been able to fly up to the moon and into outer space and do all these fascinating things. And recently we celebrated the 4th of July, Independence Day. And Mr. Nathan put together a cool little craft project for us. A rocket, real simple. It blew my mind when he put this on my desk and I saw it, and I was like, this is incredible. This is awesome, and it's so simple. Just a few rubber bands and some cups. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this craft. After we finish our craft, we're going to be launching rockets. It's going to be kind of cool. After we finish our craft, I want to read you a Bible verse. But we'll go ahead and get started on our craft. In your activity bag, which you may have picked up, or your parents or grandparents, aunts, uncle, whoever came and picked it up for you, maybe a neighbor or a friend, they picked it up for you. What you will have is, you will have 2 cups, all right? So I'm gonna take this little note off. It's just a friendly reminder. If you've read it, please don't open until Wednesday when you watch the video with me on the Facebook page. So you can go ahead and take that tag off. And what you will have is 2 cups. Now, I don't know all the different sizes or colors or shapes or whatever of the cups that were given out to you guys, but I have these 2 nice little cups here, black and white, and we'll just set them right here so you can see them, okay? And then I have this 3rd one just as our sample. So what's gonna happen is, you're gonna take one of your cups, you're not gonna have any rubber bands on it, and I'll show you how to put the rubber bands on in just a second. And you're gonna take this cup that has some rubber bands around it, all right? It's got 1, 2, 3 rubber bands on it, and you are going to place it on top of the cup without rubber bands. You are going to count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. What do you guys think is gonna happen? 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's pretty sweet. So you can launch these things out. You can shoot them. I don't want to give any ideas, but you can shoot them all over the place. It's pretty sweet. So we have 2 cups, and we're gonna go ahead and set those aside. And then we have a bag that has some rubber bands in it. All right. So we've got some rubber bands, and I'm gonna take one of those out. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna tight. We're gonna go ahead and stretch that out. You can use 3, you can use, my bag has 4 in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and use all 4 of them. You're gonna take the rubber band and you are gonna wrap it around about halfway through, okay? So it's gonna stretch around the whole cup, all right? It might be a little bit tricky to see, but you can see that it's wrapped around, and it's pretty tight, and we don't want this thing falling off. So we've got 1. We're gonna do number 2 here. I have a green one, and I'm gonna use this red one. I'm gonna stretch it out a little bit. All right, and I'm gonna make a cross with it. So, and you'll notice I put the rubber band facing wrapped around this way. The first one, the green one, facing this way. The second one, I'm going to make the cross and face it this way. So I have one going this way, one going this way, all right? The next thing that you're gonna do, so you have this kind of cool colored cup with some rubber bands on it. Again, it's a very simple project, but it's pretty sweet. I never thought about doing this. Thank you, Mr. Nathan, for that. You're gonna go ahead and take another rubber band, and you are gonna just wrap it around to hold the rest of the rubber bands in place so that they don't get lost. Okay, and we are gonna put one more on here. You don't want to put them stretch them too far out because they might pop up and fly out of the way. But we'll just go ahead and put that there. So the other 2 rubber bands that I had were yellow. So that's the end of the project. Now, we're going to go ahead and launch this. But what I want you to remember, as you're launching your rockets into outer space, think about the billions and billions of stars that God created, not only for us to enjoy, twinkling up there and just being able to see just His magnificent creation, but also understanding that God loves you, that He knows you by name. There are millions, billions of people in our world, and sometimes it can feel like, man, does anybody even know me? Yes, God knows you, and He loves you, and He understands you. So we're going to go ahead and launch our rocket. This one is a little bit tighter. These rubber bands were a little bit smaller than the other one that I had, but we're going to count down from 10 again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and blast off. I'll pick that up. I hope you guys enjoyed that craft. You can go ahead and decorate your cups as much as you want. There's areas that you can color. You can cut them. You can cut holes in it. Make sure you have a parent with you and a adult with you, somebody that will help you if you use scissors. There's all kinds of things that you can do to make it look even more like a rocket shooting out into outer space scoring the billions of stars. Let me read a Bible verse to you. And it comes from the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah is a fascinating book. Isaiah is a fascinating person. He was a prophet. He spoke on behalf of the Lord. God gave him a message to share with the rest of the people. And he shared this in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, starting in verse 26. And he says this, "Look up toward the sky. Who created everything that you see? The Lord causes the stars to come out at night, one by one. He gives each one of them a name. His power and strength are great, so none of the stars are missing." You know, God does that with the stars. He knows them. It's His power and His strength that created them. None of them are missing. He hung them up there. He makes them shine in the night. And He does the same for us in our lives. That's an awesome promise. God knows you. He loves you. Even more than the billions and billions of stars that are hanging in the sky. Will you pray with me? Dear Jesus, thank you for today. And thank you for each person that's joining us right now. You know, the craft is fun, being able to launch cup rockets and just being able to enjoy a little bit of time together. But I would pray that each person that's watching this, that they would know that they are loved, that they were created by you, that they have a purpose, God, and that there's more to this world than just what's going on in their lives right now. God, you are at work in so many different ways. But despite all the different things that are going on around us, and it may even feel like we're not sure where you are in some of this, God, we know that you are present in our lives. God, I want to pray and lift up each person that's watching this, each person that's listening to this, that they would know that they are loved, and God, that you created them for a purpose. In Jesus' name we pray.